Hello. One of the questions I get asked frequently from founders, entrepreneurs, and startups is how do I validate my idea such that it has the highest probability of success? And I usually draw their attention towards the three key metrics that are going to be determinant of that success, that desired success. This is going to be a really short video, guys, so I'm just going to touch the headlines here and give you the framework that you can go away with and discover the answers for yourself. So those three qualifying determinants often get overlooked in their entirety. Quite frequently, they look at one aspect of it, which is need. Need is the tip of the pyramid, if you like. If there is no compelling need in the marketplace for your offering, your idea, or conversely, there is no huge significant benefit that you're bringing to an environment over and above the status quo, i.e. it does massively improve the efficiency of what is currently being done or reduces the complexity and therefore the operational expenditure. These things are advantageous, but that has to be balanced with, does it make sense to invest in the idea for the benefit you're offering? Where there's a problem that you're solving, it's a lot more straightforward. But essentially, need has to be present. The stronger the need, the better it is, because your entire value proposition, your whole premise of why your client would be better off with your solution or offering is going to be far more effective when it speaks deeply to a problem that the business has or the individual has, and you can then discuss and establish what the future might look like in terms of bright, shiny future post-problem. And of course, you can then use fear, uncertainty, and doubt and say, well, if you don't do anything, what is the consequence of your inactivity? So the value proposition is always going to have a foundation of the underlying need and the benefit it brings in solving that problem or solving that need. The other two that are not so frequently considered during the ideation phase and the validation of the concept is the accessibility. Now, accessibility simply means how challenging, how easy, how convenient is it to get in front of that ideal client, that IC, or the organization or the vertical, however you're framing this. Remember, these headlines are conceptual and they can be related to individuals, companies, or industry verticals. But the accessibility really speaks to how we get in front of those people, whether it's face-to-face to deliver business-to-business solutions, or whether you're talking about business to consumer, business to customer, where you're going to use an online approach where they're coming to you. But essentially, you still have to know how you're going to engage with your audience, because you could establish that need and it could be significant, and the opportunity for value creation as your startup idea is huge, but that need cannot be addressed if you cannot present the value proposition to the audience, if you can't get in front of the decision maker or the person responsible or person who would benefit most from it. So an example would be, you have an absolutely game-changing bit of software, and the chief executive of multi-billion-dollar companies, as soon as they see it, they'll buy it like that. The only trouble is, you can't get in front of them. So you have to understand the accessibility dimension in context with need. And then, of course, the triumvirate, the third part, is essentially, where does the financials come in? Because if you can look at markets that would absolutely benefit from what you do, and they could be hugely accessible. And the case in point here is typically when we talk about students. Students benefit from many different sort of offerings, from career development to skill development, etc. There's no shortage because they're a massive marketplace. Accessibility, not too difficult because they're abundant. There are a lot of universities, and that means that they're quite easy to capture and in terms of engage with, because we know where they're going to be. The problem arises that mostly students don't have the means to pay for things beyond the immediate necessity of whatever they're studying. They're not necessarily income rich. So we have to look at the affordability of the solution. Whoever your audience is going to be, whoever your ideal client's going to be, can they afford this? So they need to see the need, absolutely need to see why it's valid and relevant for them. You've got to be able to engage them. You've got to get in front of them, however that might be, to deliver the message of why they need to pay attention and why it's going to change their lives. But you've also got to know that when it gets to the point when you're going to talk about the pricing, they're not going to be pushing back and trying to get a discount or a flat no because they just don't have the means. So it's important to recognize that the solution that you're offering is disproportionately cheaper, less expensive than the cost of inactivity. You have to be able to engage them to articulate that value, and you have to be fairly confident that when it comes to the decision, they have the means in order to effect the sale. So there you go, guys, just a quick video to recap on that. I hope it's useful. Let me know what you think.